Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. We may not have mentioned him while laying out the form and substance of the program, but we now have here with us Fafaa Dan Princewill, as it is the Labour Party governorship candidate in Rivers State. Good morning, sir.
Good to have you very much. Good morning.
Good Sunday morning.
It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you very much. Well, let's talk about the politics in your state, Rivers State.
Yes.
From two angles. First is to help us review what happened in Rivers State during the presidential and the National Assembly elections last Saturday, and if that will be an indication of what will happen next week Saturday. But more importantly, you are set to be the candidate, the governorship candidate of the Labour Party for Rivers State. At what point? A lot of people, I'm sure, will be asking, at what point did you become the Labour Party candidate? Because a lot of people thought that Madam Beatrice Otubo, was the Labour Party candidate in Rivers State.
Actually, you've asked the two questions very well because they fit into each other.
Thank you.
Rivers State politics has completely degenerated over the years, and it has reached a point where a lot of the gladiators are not satisfied by being dominant and being dictatorial in their own parties. They head for other parties and install stooges. So that's actually the most fundamental thing in Rivers State politics, is godfatherism at its absolute worst level. No other part of the country competes. In fact, they have it has degenerated to either you are Mechi or you are Wike. It's personalized. So the parties don't count, the people don't count, democracy doesn't count, and there is a complete capture of the political process. For example, last Saturday, as you all know, the governor had made song and dance about which party Rivers State was going to go for. And he wouldn't tell the people, and he wouldn't tell the nation. But until he made up his mind, we would not know where the whole of Rivers State would go to. And that was a setting that we went into the election. We also knew that wherever he went, Amici would go the other way. It was just that simple, okay? They both have their own surrogates in APC and in PDP. But interestingly, they switched in their support for the presidential elections. We could see on ground that the Amechi people were supporting PDP Atiku, whereas the Governor Wike's people were supporting Ashiwaju of APC.
That's your reading of what
No, it's
happened?
not my reading. Those are the facts, in Rivers State, because they are not hidden, and they all spoke to it. And apart from those parties, every other party has, of the 18 parties, every other party is occupied by stooges of one or the other. Okay? Mrs. Beatrice Itubo happens to be Amechi's stooge in Labour Party. Okay? She's, for all intents and purposes, an APC woman. She does not get involved in fact, she runs her politics from her NLC office. She doesn't go to the party office. If you see over any little research, you'll see that she's always with Tony Cole, the candidate for the APC. In fact, there was a point when she came out and said she would mobilize Labour, all Labour people in the country, against Peter Obi.
All right, but is Peter Obi backing your candidacy at this point?
Well, Of course, I would say absolutely yes. But
because if I were, because you were talking about research, if I were to quote the Vanguard only 14 minutes ago, the Vanguard
I would say that's an old story.
That Peter Obi has endorsed
It's an old story, and they are not true at all. You see, His Excellency Peter Obi had to call and apologize to her as a gentleman when she publicly attacked him. Okay? And the reason being that when he gets to Port Harcourt, she thought he should be coming to pay her obeisance. But usually, the way things should be is that you go welcome the presidential candidate. I think that's the correct protocol. Okay? And for a very long time, our party, the Labour Party, and the presidential candidate were in talks or in dalliance with Wike. And any loyal member...
Because Mr. Peter Obi, alluded to that at a point.
He did.
Hoping that if Wike would support the governorship candidate, his presidential candidacy, then Labour could, also reciprocate and support Fubara.
And it was a reasonable thing to do. But
you were not in the picture then?
I was in the picture. It was a reasonable thing to do because the state already was for Peter Obi, and Peter Obi needed as many governors, as many strong people to support him. So if you were a true supporter of Peter Obi, even if you didn't think that it was the correct political move, you remain loyal and you support your presidential candidate and your party in the efforts. So people like me did not do anything against Governor Wike. We didn't make any statements because we were aware that our party and our presidential candidates, we argued against it within the party, but we did not take a frontal position. She did, clearly not being loyal. She attacked Wike so many times to the embarrassment of those of us in the state because we knew where she was coming from. We knew what the politics of it, but I believe that most people not very familiar with Rivers State politics will think that these statements are controversial, but they are not. Most politicians know that.
Yes, sir, but at what point did she stop being the candidate of Labour Party, and at what point did you come in?
Okay. We had, why I said it was a good question the way you asked it, was that dovetailed into the change process. Beatrice Otubo came in as a placeholder. The Labour Party had a lot of placeholders before Peter Obi came into the picture. Okay?
Labour Party put an Amechi stooge as a placeholder?
Not knowingly. It is what they do is that they just surreptitiously go into all the parties. The parties really don't know, and that's why the parties are at the mercy of what I would call anti-democratic oligarchs. Because I don't think Labour Party itself is part of that thing, but that's the way it is. And sometimes it happens in the state. She was state leader for Labour. Okay? And she was particularly close to Governor Amechi when he was governor. These are all facts. And then when Wike came in and he had issues with Governor Amechi, with Governor Amechi, she was arrowhead in attacking. So the relationship is established and long. And then she became, she retired, but she was kept back, purely political. Even the Labour Union people were not happy about that. But she was doing so well, in fighting Wike for Amechi that she was kept there. So if you look at it, over the time, several efforts were made. We tried political solutions. The party elders, party leaders invited us several times to talk. She agreed that she would step down, but every now and then she would come up with one thing or the other. You know? So when it became very clear, a court process, took place. So it is out of court order that the party sent my name to INEC, and I have just been recently nominated and approved as a River State.
Okay, you've just been recently nominated.
Yes.
And you're saying that Peter Obi is backing you. You're saying that right here.
Anyone in the party would back me because I am the candidate for.
And he has endorsed
and why I'm
as
not
the candidate, correct?
I would say so, yes.
All right.
Because it's a process.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, what do you make of the allegation in River State? Yeah. I believe I took a story last week where your chairman in River State, the LP Labour chairman, had accused Governor Wike of allegedly manipulating results. And we had seen videos circulating on social media, people saying that Governor Wike had a hand in the manipulation of the presidential election results specifically. And also, I saw Senator Dino Malaye had posted a video of a Nigerian army accusing Governor Wike as well, even though that video has been debunked. I believe it's been in circulation since 2019. So now tell me, what do you make of all of those allegations?
See, just as I told you, in River State, in fact, the theme of my campaign is a new beginning. We have to do things differently in River State. A new beginning. Because what we have is government capture. It's just purely personal, purely based on what their own personal interests are. I'm not criticizing the governor Amechi as such. I'm just stating facts. I'm just stating facts. Governor Wike has done some good things. He has done a few things. I'm not denying him his a positive thing. But anyone who has watched Rivers politics knows that it is fueled and propelled by personal interest and very little thought for the will of the people or the interests of the people. For the military, we've also seen that compromising the military security, the arms of government is normal in our politics. We were all very hopeful. Indeed, a major part of why I stepped into the race was because of the Electoral Act. I believed that it would make a difference. Going through the details of it, all the battles they had in the National Assembly, and they finally got passed, I felt it was now worth coming into. But again, we saw it was compromised in the last elections, and I think that is a very fair comment. That it's not just the Labour Party leader that would say. It's something everyone in River State knows. In fact, I was talking to a group of young ladies, youths, who very, very, very downcast said they would not vote again because votes don't count, and it took a lot of effort giving them hope again that you must keep trying. When you fall down, you don't remain lying down. If you fall down 50 times, you get up 50 times. So it's also part of my appeal to all Rivers people, especially our youths, and especially the women folk, that they should not despair. So good times are coming.
Okay.
Good times are coming.
So you don't think that last Saturday's election in River State reflects the will of the people? I mean, if you say that, yes, maybe it will be, there were compromises or issues, and that Obi could have won. But then if you also look at the National Assembly elections in the state, PDP cleared all the 3 senatorial seats and majority of the House of Assembly seats. Yes, I think Labour picked, a few, 1 or 2. Will you say that was also rigged? If that's your conclusion.
Let me say this, and I say it with a deep sense of responsibility. And I say it because it's a learning process for all of us, even as a nation. for my party, for everyone. I'm fairly experienced in Nigerian politics. I was a youth leader, very active. I was national chairman of the NRC. When we had two parties, I was the youth leader for the NRC. So I've been around a little bit in politics. I believe that there were some choices made, perhaps choices forced on our party and our presidential candidate. And it made his race separate from a lot of the down ballots, as they call it in politics, down ballots, okay? Because it was a new party, it was like David fighting Goliath, two Goliaths at the same time. So the focus was extra focused on the presidential election. To be honest with you, many don't know what happened in Nigeria. It was a phenomenal performance because
for Peter
Obi, phenomenal. Because if you know what what I would call the disadvantages and the that he ran with, it's like somebody who ran a race carrying a bag of rice on his back and gets to the 100 and wins the 100-meter race. That's the kind of thing it is. Because the down ballot usually is the one that protects your votes.
The main votes, yeah.
Because somebody is running for the state assembly or for national assembly and all of that. For himself, he has to keep his base.
That's right.
Okay, so that is a major part of the race, the nature of it. Okay, but the funding, limited funds, limited time, limited everything, so limited. They just went for the race,
no
for
structure.
the presidential, no structure, no structure. You know, it's like you're telling people to be the structure wherever they were. I wasn't quite. It took me a while because I'm not a youth, so it didn't take. I did. It took me a while, but I also bought into it because it was worth the risk. So yes. So when you look at it properly, in fact, there are many positions that were not contested. That's right. So it's not as if they failed the election.
Yeah.
It wasn't as if they failed the election.
They didn't field candidates.
They didn't field candidates. So you can't win positions that you didn't contest for. And the confusion was so much and all that. And we had a lot of moles who were from other parties in it. For example, the last race, Beatrice, she didn't do anything about she didn't. There was no presence. There was no. She just stayed where she normally stayed, and nothing happened. No capacity, no political experience, no exposure, nothing. So there was nothing that could have been done 2 days before the presidential election. I was called to see what I could do. And 2 days, because you have to have somebody in charge of something.
So what did you do? You were the candidate of the Guba candidate.
No, I had not yet.
He said he just
yes,
no.
Before Saturday?
No, that's the problem.
So when did you become the candidate?
Just after, because they now said, see, for a grassroots race, you need to know your grassroots. It's like a war general. You know your people in various places. You know what they can do. You know what to augment. And in each locality, you arrange their funding. You arrange their transport. That's the kind of race it is.
All right. So who do you think won the presidential election? Are you saying Labour Party won?
Without.
And do you have proof? Do you have any intel that you can share with us?
See, we have a comprehensive look at it, and part of the delay of all this was these positions. Because somebody has to be the arrowhead. Mm-hmm. Somebody I don't think you've had Beatrice talk about. She talks about it in a funny manner, but you need to. The questions you're asking, you need to produce. Collect, you have to get through all of that to present a case. So and that's what makes you the leader. But if none of that happens, you leave everybody down. What we've done is that process, that's why you saw state chairman make that statement.
Yes.
And until I became the candidate, I couldn't come and address the public. It would look funny, until you have a clear mandate by your party to do that. Okay. So that's the.
So are you going to do that?
Yes, of course, definitely.
Right.
We're in the through. That's very important. Yes, of course. Not only did he win, he won by a very wide margin in Rivers State. People also must remember that it is in Rivers State the cry, no more APC, no more PDP. It started in Rivers State. It started well before anywhere else. I can even say that even among the clergy, the very first person who talked about it was Ibiome in Rivers State, where he came out and said, no party, no...
Pastor Ibiome.
You just pick who is a good candidate because it's not paying us anymore. You see, but the frustration really is the Amechi Wike rivalry. That's what is at the bottom of it all.
Okay, before I go to my next question, can you just clarify for us that you are the candidate of the Labour Party for Rivers State governorship election Saturday now?
Yes.
Because the court has declared so?
Yes.
You think that will stand?
Of course. See, let me say this. After all the attempts for her to step down,
okay,
many attempts, and each one ended up frustrated somehow. And immediately she finishes her meeting, she rushes to Amichi's house. So it was very clear that it was a problem. But it would take a lot of political experience and the older political people to resolve that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
For a new party, it became more than it could be handled. That's really what happened. But fortunately, some of us have some experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we pursued it the way, not just mine, it's a group of decisions.
Okay, so where I'm going, sir, is that you've become the candidate of the party.
How will that change?
Less than 2 weeks
to
the elections.
Yes.
You mentioned, you referenced David and Goliath the other time.
Yes.
Two Goliaths that Obi had to contend with.
Yes.
But in your own case, with little or no campaigns at all, you'll be facing at least 3 Goliaths.
No. Actually, it's different. See,
okay.
Peter Obi's situation was different, but he's a party. The newness of the candidacy and all of that.
Yeah.
But in Rivers State, I dare say that I'm a political factor, okay, in Rivers State. I'm not, I didn't cut my teeth in Labour Party, okay? So we know what to do. We have put together, and the place is agog. Because finally they have a candidate.
Against Fubara.
No, they are surrogates.
Against Toye Cole. Let me make the point, sir.
That was my question. That was my next question.
Of APC. Against Magnus Abe of SDP.
Okay.
Realistically, what do you think your chances are really?
Let me also say this. Without putting down their candidacies, they will all accept that I'm politically, I'm their senior. I think that's a fair comment to make.
They will accept?
They know. They definitely accept. Their leaders accept that I'm their political leader. Because I cut my teeth a while back, when I was contesting for. I don't want to talk about myself, but I'm not an underdog in the race.
In this race?
No. And Labour Party is the top dog. So it's not the same. It's not David fighting Goliath this time. This time is Big David.
What would you say to those who will describe you right now as an opportunist? Because they're saying that you're
far from it. See,
riding on the wave of the obedient movement. Barely 2 weeks into the race.
First of all, the court case takes a long time. And I'm in all the high positions of the Labour Party. I'm in major, whether it's a think tank, whether all the establishment groups for the national Labour. I'm part of it, okay? So I'm not at all, you can't describe me that way. In fact, I'm a selfless one because I was not even looking too much for a seat for myself. I supported the youth because as a youth leader, a situation came up and I felt that people like me needed to be around it. And that is the role that I think I have played.
Okay.
If Mrs. Utubo, and in many of the meetings where they tried to, I said it, if I believed that she had a 5% chance, if I believed that she was loyal, if I believed she was really a real candidate, as a man who prides myself, I'm a father of 5 daughters and a son, okay? I would not want to snatch. In fact, it is because I didn't want to snatch it from her hand. That's why you didn't hear all the noise and all the ruffle that would have happened. Even now, she's making comments against me, but I don't say anything about it. What is important in an election? What is important in an election is a deep understanding of the forces at play. The forces at play. And an alignment of groups putting together. We lost local governments that that it was impossible for Obi to lose by virtue of the demographics. You know what I mean?
But certainly not Obiakpo. Not Obiakpo.
No, Obiakpo and Port Harcourt. Obiakpo and Port Harcourt are like Lagos Island, Ikoyi and VI. It's the same demographics. You can't win one, with a margin of almost 60,000, and then lose the other one with a huge margin. So clearly, something went wrong. We also have a situation. In fact, the hero of the election in Rivers State was a Professor Briggs. Briggs, a lady.
Okay.
She was the one that made that Falga Port Harcourt result stand. She was offered, it's in the media. She was offered all sorts of money, offered, threats, all of that. Right. And she stood firm.
All right, we have limited time for
yes.
our viewers who don't know you.
Yes.
Can you tell us some of your political antecedents quickly?
Oh, political. I was in New York as a lawyer, a young lawyer, when I was invited over to serve as a special assistant to the Senate President, Joseph Wyas. At the time, there were very few, I think 4 of us who were US trained, and the new constitution similar to the American, and I came in. I came in for a legal job, but it pushed me into politics. After that, I was special assistant to the Minister of Finance, in that same government. I was an executive assistant in the Shagari re-election campaign. I contested for governor in Rivers State. I was national youth leader. I've been around a little bit. And in PDP, I was one of the founding, I wouldn't say fathers because I was young amongst them, but I was equally a beginner, with them. So I think generally in the political system, people recognize that I've been around. And it's an opportunity, a great opportunity. I'm very proud of Rivers people, especially the youths, and the way they came out. And I want them to know that good times are coming.
All right. All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, on that note, we'll have to say thank you very much for joining us on the morning show, and we wish you good luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.